Hi everybody, it's Pamara Naturals back with another video. Today we're talking about trimming your natural hair at home. I did a video about trimming your hair at home years ago, but I just thought I'll come up here and do an update, show you how I trim my hair. We're gonna trim my hair today because it's way overdue, and we'll talk about a few things about trimming our hair and how you can do it properly and effectively, how often you should do it, you know, and all that good stuff. So if you're interested, keep watching. The first question obviously is, why trim your hair anyway? Don't we want to keep all our length? Well, the answer is yes, we want to keep all the length that we can keep, but we want to keep healthy length or healthy hair. So the reason we trim our hair is really to keep our hair healthy, because the ends of our hair are actually the oldest. They normally have, you know, if you have this type of hair, they'll normally have knots and tangles and single strand knots, etc. So those need to go away. Otherwise, you know, detangling becomes a nightmare and breakage becomes the norm and you won't, you know, end up seeing your length anyway. So it's a good idea to get into trimming your hair. So how do you tell it's time for a trim? Well, like I said before, knots, tangles, you know, just dry ends, old ends. If your hair is a little bit crunchy at the ends or dry or just doesn't seem to respond well to product or styling, it might be time for a trim. And another rule of thumb when it comes to trimming your hair is just to have a look at your hair. Because if the thickness of your hair is reducing drastically towards the end, so obviously you can see it's quite thick up here, and then it's thinning down, thinning, see? Which means that, you know, those ends probably need to go because it's much thinner than the hair up here. It's really important when you trim your hair to not use any kind of scissors. Make sure you use shears that are meant specifically for hair and that you use only for hair. Because what happens is, if your scissors are not sharp or you're using them for different things, they become blunt and all of a sudden you do not have a clean trim at the ends of your hair, which can cause more trouble. You don't want to trim your hair and leave the ends open and, you know, susceptible to damage after the trim. That depends on you, what you're doing with your hair, how often you're detangling, manipulating, brushing your hair. That might mean more often trimming sessions. Just listen to your hair, pay attention to your hair, and assess your hair to see, you know, if your ends need a trim. As a rule of thumb, people normally trim their hair every 3 months, maybe 3 to 4 months. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. There's different methods to trimming your hair. I'm going to show you 2 today. I'm going to trim my hair in a twist and also loose like this. So it's really important that your hair is well detangled before you trim it, because you want to get all the shed hair out and you want to stretch that hair as much as possible so you can get the ends of every strand up here, or as many as you can up here. You don't need to stretch your hair to trim it. You can trim it wet, you know, or even in twists or whatever you're doing. But I personally prefer a slightly stretched look because it just helps me estimate a little bit better where I'm cutting or where the ends are, because, you know, it's easy to cut more hair when your hair is shrunken or when your hair is not stretched. So that's why I've got a blowout here. It's not a particularly what's the word? It's not a particularly stretched blowout. I use the Revlon, what was it? The Revlon One Step Blow Dryer. I'll put a link above if you guys are interested. I did a review on it. Okay, so Just a quick comb of the hair, just to make sure everything is up here. I'm just going to show you the first method. And you can use the smaller side of the comb just to get, you know, stretch the hair a little bit more and also, you know, estimate a little bit better. A rat tail comb is probably even more effective with this. And this is probably the only time you're allowed to use a rat tail comb. But anyway, just stretching your hair, you can feel that those ends need to go like yesterday. They need to go. Yeah, so I think I'll be cutting about there, which is just probably an inch. There you go. That's a good trim. So because the hairs are very much, what's the word, uneven, you know, depending on the, you know, the length of the hair, sometimes you will miss other portions, and then you just go in there and roughly clean it up. And I guess this is the search and destroy method. 3 methods, I guess, that I'm showing you today. I thought I would show you 2, but I do this anyway, you know, each time after I trim my hair, because some hairs are shorter than others and the ends aren't really included when you pull the hair. So there, I can feel that that's a much cleaner trim. I promise you, those ends are so healthy. You can feel the difference. I can't even explain it. Anyway, let me show you on this side how you can use a twist. So if you don't want to trim your hair loose, you can just twist it and then trim the end bit of your hair down to the end, and you can feel that those ends need to go. So all you need to do is trim the end bit of your twist. Now, this is probably not my favorite method, because for me to search and destroy, I would have to unravel the twist and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, either method works. I would say I've kind of estimated the length, but again, it'll be slightly different, but who cares? Okay, so do this side again, just with loose hair. And we're gonna use our rat tail comb just to bring out all the shed hairs and to really examine our hair. So you can actually start to feel that things are not good at the ends here. There. So probably need to trim a little bit more. There, trim that. Ready? Ooh! Almost trimmed my finger. Oh, those ends are amazing. Once again, I like to just go in there and feel for any single strand knots or knots that are still present, and then quickly go in there and snip them off. And you can run your fingers down your hair, guys, and you will actually feel the difference. It's unreal. And search and destroy is really good for hairs that have got knots that are like midway. Like that one that I just did, it had a knot that's midway through the hair or the length of the hair. So it's impossible to get that knot at the ends. That portion is well trimmed with healthy ends.